All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Miami Nights.
And Black. And
we have a special guest. We'll allow her to introduce herself because I think it's only fitting. And we are doing another episode of the Locker Room Talk.
Episode 5.
Our guest is...
G. How you doing?
Where are you from, G?
Australia.
Long way to record with us. We got a lot to talk about, folks.
We do.
Well, some interesting topics and subtopics. But Ms. G has a few things she'd like to say about some of the things we normally talk about. She's a fan, right? It's safe to say
Huge fan of you guys, obviously.
Well, I mean, again, this is going to be fun. Well, our first discussion is a little bit off color, but good. It's the lyric challenge, the way it should be used, and we normally don't have songs on the station on our podcast, but I think this one has brought some attention. I think we should really address some things that should be really addressed. And obviously we brought G to do that for us.
It's a really good song. I'm pretty sure everybody heard of it. It's from, what's his name, Black Problems. I know you heard the song. It's a really, really, really good song.
Why is he important? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's just that song what he was talking about.
He's honestly, like, his narcotic music, like his lyrics, this is the first time he's written an album that actually comes from his feelings and his experiences. He's never done that before. He's never written about his relationships before or his problems in relationships. So on this album, like, he's got some really good raw music where he literally he even took lyrics from texts that he'd received and thoughts that he'd had. He just wrote them down. He wasn't even meaning them to be bars. He literally just wrote down how he was feeling at the time and created a song from it. So it's the first time he's actually shown himself in his music. And the album is a new genre. That's a big call, but like it is a new genre of artistry because it's that narcotic sort of oozing sort of songs. And the reason why we were talking about Problems is because we were listening to it in the car on the drive one day, like just last night to Corey.
Have you heard the song before coming to the States?
Yeah. So it was something that was actually brought to me from the States. So I was actually introduced to it by a friend of mine who just, who'd come over to Australia, and I fell in love with it from, the first time I listened to it. So I started exploring the reasons, like his lyrics and the reasons why he was writing these songs. And I ended up in an argument about this, or a heated discussion about this, because
with whom? With whom exactly? Oh,
with this
Black,
guy.
What happened? I mean,
So I was like, do you listen to Black? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, my favorite song is Problems.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have a lot you can relate on.
But, yeah.
Like he's saying about his favorite song is Problems, and that he was talking about why it was his favorite song, and I was just. My take on it was completely different.
I was like, it was relatable to me because, I felt like a lot of... that whole song is all relatable to me.
Well, it sounds like you were the voice of reason on that. But now why...
But what she dove into was, like, crazy. If you could bring that back up.
He's been really... Black has been really open about this song and why he wrote the lyrics the way he did.
Full disclosure, Black, don't sue us. All right.
Yeah. So like, there's no. This is your story, man. Like, this is your experience, and all I can do is address the things that you've identified already in the song as being the problems that are within you, and the why a girl would act the way that she did when, you were in this relationship and afterwards. So you say things in here like, I wanted a bitch who was down to earth, but she wanted the goddamn sky.
It sounds so much better when you say it.
I'm not gonna even try to sing this at all.
No, it's the locker room. You can do whatever you want.
But there are aspects of your song that I completely agree with. That you know, if a girl's not, you know, after the same things in life as you are, then it's, you know, like if you don't want the same things, then, you know, you're like, in this instance, your values are being tested, and that your the way that you look at the world is, you know, is always going to come up as a challenge in terms of, you know, how committed you are to both, and how exhausting it would be if you weren't both on the same page. You know, in terms of so Black was talking about how he you know, he's very career focused, and this girl he was dating not so much. So he uses a lot of examples in that through this song, like that she just wanted to lay and like sleep in every day, and just you know, and she wanted different things out of life than what he did. So that's going to test you in some way, but there are aspects of this song.
Yeah, so
guys.
what she really got mad was when he
this
was,
is supposed to be a lyric challenge. I don't see how.
No, I mean,
I think everyone should listen to lyrics.
yeah,
but
no,
I mean,
but what thing like really like kind of like tipped her over the edge is when he was talking about how he built the girl up, and then he's like, you know,
Right.
I don't like her no more, fuck her, and just left.
Right.
He ghosted her. There you go. We can bring that up.
Yeah.
He low-key ghosted her.
So like,
we're always talking. That word is always coming out.
there are things here. There is one line that I absolutely can't stand in this song because it tests me it tests me as a female because I can relate to it completely. I understand it, right? So he says, you know, she texts me, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, but how the fuck can you hate me when I ain't did shit but be the real thing? So he's trying to say, like, in this lyric, he's saying, I'm just being me. I'm real. I just gave you what I'm like. You know, this is how I am, and if you don't like it, leave, right? Like, I'm not going to change for anybody. But he also says things like, I built you up, and you know, and he tries to say that she's in some way a little bit crazy, and because she's acting out on the way that he is treating her. And
I don't know, because I think you don't think he's doing anything in return to kind of enable this. I think he's enabling her though.
Yeah, like, okay, so I think that girls, like females, like we see things very, very differently, and when a guy is distant and, you know, he wants his own space and needs to just work, and he goes off and does his thing for weeks at a time or months at a time, like, all to him, like, that is working hard, and that's making your...
Why would you want a guy that's always available and on the couch?
Right,
Lawrence
absolutely.
2.0.
Same thing in reverse with a girl. But you can't say that a girl is crazy when she's not receiving what she needs to feel valuable within that relationship. Like, if she's
Wait. So I don't mean to interrupt, but let me get this straight. You're telling me a guy who's working hard, bringing home the funds, breaking his back, following his passion, no less, and is not giving 100% of his attention to the woman he's seeing.
It's not even about giving 100% attention.
No, okay, maybe not 100, but I'd say even a fifth of that. Okay, all right, big math. 25% of that. Okay, we're gonna have problems.
Some of these things
you agree to that?
Make girls feel a little bit crazy.
But then they don't want guys who are always at home and give 100% of that.
Right, but there's a difference between the way that men handle things. We were talking about this earlier. There's a difference between the way that men handle things and the way that they work and the way that females work. The thing that I don't like about this, the parts about this song that I don't like, is that he's identifying behaviour that sounds, and he's making her sound like she's crazy, but it's only because she's dealing with something in a way that's different to the way he deals with things. Like, guys can like disconnect and, you know, and distance themselves, and that's how they deal with things, and they learn and they take their time to, you know, really focus on themselves, and they, you know, they drill themselves into a particular task so they feel useful and that they're practical. I get that. Well, girls, we do things differently. We like to vocalize, we like to talk about things, and that just being able or just feeling that we need to vocalize something can even make us feel crazy. So like when guys identify that and say, hey, you're acting crazy because you're yelling at me and you want to talk about things and you want to lay it all out on the table and I just want my space, there's this there's this huge distance between the two ways of dealing with something. And the thing that I don't like about that opinion from men is that
What opinion is that?
guys that share the opinion that, you know, just because girls want to vocalize their emotions
Right.
means they're crazy.
No,
Like
not
that
at all.
that's like, you know,
you
I
heard
hear
that
that
before?
I hear that all the time. Like I don't know if any girl can relate to this, like if anybody is listening, but if you ever felt totally like on edge and a little bit anxious and a little bit crazy just because you want to talk about your feelings and he don't want to listen, like that is not, it's the part of this song that he identifies is that he made her that way. So he got her to, you know, he's saying things like, I told her I loved her, and then the next week I wanted my own space. So, okay, he's identifying that some guys can make, you know, girls act that way. Like, he's identifying, his behaviour has made her act that way.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg, you know? Like, I just think it's...
Well, I think it's fair to say that he is giving her what she wants, right?
Right.
If she initially wanted his attention, she got it. Not his undivided attention.
Right. Okay, that's a good point. Like, I mean, I think it's really important to...
We still keep coming back to that
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
to the concept of time. How valuable is your time?
Yeah. I think that for a female, like we need that validation and to feel value. And
In
that's
what sense?
So, like we were talking about it earlier. I mean, I think you receive love in different ways, and you receive validation in different ways. I mean,
Right.
you don't. Some people don't need positive affirmations. Some people don't need. You know, some people just need to be known, like to be cuddled in public or something like that, just to show that, you know, someone's doesn't feel shame being around a person. Like some people just like to be to be held, but that's all it can take. Some people just like to have flowers brought home from them after a really long day at work. But there are girls who need to feel like they're heard, and they need to feel like they have a voice. And if they're shut down in that process, then that makes them close up. And when girls close up, all shit breaks loose. Like, you cannot close a girl up and expect her not to explode at some point.
That's fair. Now, I know you can only speak on, maybe you can on the other side, but from a woman's perspective. But what I find is interesting is that no one's really speaking for us, Black. What's going on? You know, like, it's like, what do we got to say
Right.
about that? What do we want? You know,
Yeah.
We talked about it on our last segment. We don't want to be ghosted.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, like I said, that song, maybe he felt a certain way. You know, at first,
Yeah.
it's like, yo, I'm putting all this work in, and she's not reciprocating the same work. You know?
But what is he putting work into, himself
Wait a minute.
in the relationship?
So, wait a minute.
Well, I'm talking about in the relationship with her, and then he's probably like, yo, that's why he's like, I built you up to something that I like, and you not. At first, she wasn't, accepting what I was trying to.
But
build
the
you
man
to,
is,
then
and the
like-
man is in his purpose. If he is purposely trying to be successful, I don't see any problem.
Right. So he identifies that in his song as well. He says that, I'm trying to do something with my life here. I'm trying to make something. I'm trying to be an artist. I need my own space to do that. You know, so maybe I shouldn't be in a relationship. Maybe that's why the relationship broke down, is because I was quite selfish in this instance, and there wasn't anything that there's nothing wrong with that.
However,
It's just- however,
you can, let's say, having said that, right.
having said that, it still happened. This girl is still on the line here. She's still being called out as her behavior being, she's still being called out for the way that she acted.
Well,
when
you're asking him
when he
from-
broke her heart.
Right. Well,
So,
you're listening to his song,
Yeah.
his lyrics, his perspective on it,
Yeah.
and you are the voice for this poor girl.
Yeah.
Right. We should just say what it is. She's being friend zoned. She's being friend
Good
zoned.
segue.
No, she's being friend zoned. It's true. Which brings me to our next topic. All right, guys, and I'm speaking to the fellas here. With careful thought, Black and I thought this should have been said a long time ago on our show. We brought up friend zone. We did. We touched on that, right?
a little bit.
And we put together a chamber, or a committee, rather, of sound minds, very intelligent men, very few women, of course. We're calling this group the friend zone support group. It comes with a heavy heart that I have to say it like this, but it's a necessary evil. The friend zone support group is something I'd like to think that men coming together and creating something special, creating an understanding of what not to do again, how to grow, how to be better, and money over bitches. I don't know. Is that basically what it is?
So you guys are like forming a group called something. It's a friend zone.
I'm sorry. Would you like me to repeat it? The friend zone support group.
This
So we're
friend zone
trying to uplift our fellow brothers, you
Okay,
know, our
so-
fellow men. You know, you got friend zone. We're gonna help you get out of that
So
friend zone.
how can other men help other men get
Because
out of friend zone when they don't
you can't
understand the
expect-
female psyche as to why they ended up there in the first place?
This is not the first time I'm saying this. You cannot get good advice from a woman. A man, no, it's true. I'm going to say it. You can't, a single guy
how can you-
cannot get honest advice from a young woman who he's been friend zoned by. Let's be
No,
honest.
okay.
Let's be honest.
There's the difference.
There's a difference?
So absolutely.
How would you expect a woman to know exactly? A woman will be too nice to
So
tell
why
you the
is it-
truth, gentlemen. A woman will be too nice to tell you the truth.
I'll tell you the
here
truth
we
right
go.
here. Okay, so like
And we all got stories now.
I just want to touch on this. Okay, so why would someone be? So who's friend zoning a man? Just answer that. Who friend zones a man?
Oh, you obviously don't know how this works.
So a female.
I have literally
A
seen.
female friend zones a man. So who has the answer on why a man is friend zoned?
We may have
Female.
our cultural differences here, but let's reestablish a few things. Thanks to social media, i.e., IG, Snapchat.
Okay.
And so forth. We have witnessed on our last segment. We discussed a young man who went on both knees and proposed that they be friends forever. From a girl who was willing to accept all the benefits of being with someone in a relationship, but giving nothing ultimately that requires a relationship seal in return. And what are some of those details here? You're giving me a puzzled look. You can't see this, but she's looking at me like I'm crazy. I don't know.
Talking about an open relationship?
No, not at all. Oh, you thought sex was being exchanged? Oh, that's foolish. That's cute.
It's a friend zone thing.
That's cute.
Right,
You see, this is where culturally we're different.
No,
here.
I don't know.
Did
I'm
you?
just trying to get where you're coming
No,
from.
it's
Like, what's
there's
happening
an
here?
understanding. So this support group will address some of the many issues that come with women who feel that they only see these men as friends because of the errors of their ways. Let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes we're not going about this the right way, fellas,
Yeah.
and we end up being friend zoned. And by we, I'm not referring to myself necessarily, but I have been there. Okay,
yeah.
I have been there, and I've learned from
sure
that. And this is where I'm going to share that. I'm going to share what not to do
I'm pretty sure every man has been friend zoned by, you know,
inadvertently.
yeah, inadvertently or accidentally saying something they shouldn't have never said that like kind of turned the woman off, or
No, too petty, Dr. Petty.
or being too persistent, you know, like
Or chemistry is
Or the
just
chemistry
not
is
the
not
same.
there.
No, the laws of attraction are real.
yeah,
If-
yeah.
You know,
But that's like me hitting you up every day and like, hey, when we hanging out? Are we gonna
Yeah,
hang
like
out?
if
Are we
you
gonna hang
write
out? Yeah,
to
let's do
me
it.
and you write one word
that's how you get ghosted.
every single day, that's how you get ghosts. You get if all I get is a hey, I'm like, say something interesting. That's how I am. Like, hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm
What's
going to
next?
Whole Foods. Do you want anything? That's
You're right.
That's a good
Yeah,
way to start.
I know a great place for coffee.
Yeah.
Do you want to get one with
You
me?
guys go to coffee? I think coffee dates are the worst. You're not going. You're going to get friend zone, fellas. If you go on a
That's
coffee
not
date.
true.
No,
That is
what?
not
It's
true.
during the day, right?
Yes.
Oh, is there whiskey in this
Oh
coffee?
my goodness.
No, you're getting friend zoned. No coffee dates.
If you are in San
That's a
Diego,
hell no.
Okay, grown ass woman will take you on a coffee date, and it will legitimately be a date.
Did you say take you? Is she paying? Is she?
Like that.
Are you paying for the coffee? I need to go to Australia. If you're offering coffee dates, all right, down for the cause. But I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. All right.
So no, I have a question for her. So, why would you put a man in the friend zone?
For, like me personally, why would I put one? They're boring.
The
So
spot-
like number one, they're
Boring
boring.
as
They don't have
fuck.
anything interesting to say, so they're not stimulating my own intellect. Like I need someone who can have a conversation with
You're
me.
actually intelligent.
And
So-
that's
Well, not
yeah.
all women are actually on
I
that
mean,
page.
but even the
Or men.
even
Or
the
men.
people who are not like people that are not experienced in life still will have the mentality that if they want to have maybe one or two sentences, not just what are you doing in WYD. Like it's
Wow.
we can get a little bit more creative than that.
People
I
are
think.
actually saying that out loud. They're not texting.
No, I mean in a text, right? Like in a text. Like I mean, you can get that. You could actually call someone, and if they are, and actually you could text them and say, "Hey, can I call you in an hour?" Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. That's a conversation. That's like, "Hey, I love the sound of your voice." Hey,
But-
cool. Now you're
okay.
giving me something.
No, I
Okay.
wouldn't. I
That's-
wouldn't
so
do
that's
that.
one.
I wouldn't.
So
talk
what
to someone
about?
via
Okay,
text.
I have
Yeah.
something.
So that's
too.
one.
That's one. I'm gonna throw another one in here for you.
It's throwing
Yeah.
a wrench in your
Okay,
plan.
so what about when you like, oh, I really like you, but I just don't want to be with you, and then I'm gonna save you for later until I'm going doing whatever I'm doing, and I'm gonna
Oh,
come back
that's-
to you.
That sounds heartfelt.
Let me bring this
No,
up.
it wasn't hard.
No, I was just
So,
trying
if
to say.
that, so any girl that says that to
It was
you,
kind of hard though.
any girl that can't actually just say how it is. All right, so someone that says that to you, they're, what did you call them earlier?
Not keeping it 100, but not or
A millennial?
a millennial. Oh, is that what it is? Not
Right, is
keeping
that
it.
what you called it?
Not keeping it 100. She had no idea what that means. By the
I
way.
don't even know what that means.
And
but-
we had to break it down. Black, you had the best way.
Yeah,
to
it's like
describe it.
keeping it real, like being 100% honest.
yeah. So
Authenticity.
All right. So
All
if
right.
I was recently, if I had someone say to me like, get really upset because I wasn't seeing them or I wasn't hanging out or I wasn't making the time, that's kind of a really good point for me to sort of.
Does that make you a bad person?
No, it doesn't make me a bad person. It just means that
Guys, I
I'm
hope you're
not
writing this down.
prioritizing that person. So I'm not. So that is a wake up call for myself.
So, guys,
And
whenever a
any girl-
woman does that, pull back.
Well, I wasn't speaking to it in that sense. I'm saying like, hey, like this person's take you out on dates and everything. You're cool with him, and he thinking
She lets you pay, by the way. In case you didn't know.
Okay.
He thinking about he thinking he has a chance, and you're like, oh, I really like you as a friend, but I'm pretty sure if I wasn't. I'm pretty sure that you'll find somebody, but I really don't want you to find nobody because I want to be with you, but I don't want to be with you.
Okay, girls, don't play games. That's shit.
It's
Like,
stupid.
it's
It's like-
absolutely dumb. Like, do not play. If you want to be a friend with a guy and you don't have that chemistry, admit it. Just
But
be
if they
like,
do
I don't
have
have
it-
chemistry.
All right, I know
But
she's
they do
just
have it,
one.
it's like,
she's just one
yeah.
girl, fellas. But on your next note, move to Australia.
Yeah,
By any
Yeah,
means
girls,
necessary.
don't play games. Like, I mean, if you really like someone, like if we're talking about a scenario where you feel the chemistry and it's right, it is there, and you like, and this guy is a really good guy and he's really valuable in your life, and you don't want to lose him, then just be with him.
take the chance.
Ooh, I have a
Take an
question for you.
opportunity.
I have a question for you. So
Yeah.
if a guy is becoming is ever at a point he's become overeager and overthinking,
Okay.
right? And all of a sudden
Yeah.
you get radio silence from him, right? Have you ever been in a position where you've actually tried contacting them back after that?
Oh no, you escape a bullet if that's what happens. Like if a guy
Ooh, you
gets
dodged a bullet. Ooh,
yeah,
you hear that, guys?
so if
All right.
if a guy is being possessive and obsessive and and pulling all the moves before he's even in a relationship with you, before he even has a chance to be committed to you, before you even have a chance to show what commitment means to you and how it and how valuable you can treat him, and if he's going to do all of that, if he's going to act like a over analytical super obsessive guy before you even have a chance to show yourself, then you gotta, and don't hit him back up. You just gotta
but
leave
you made
that.
it. But you made it seem as though you would like him, though. What happened?
Okay, so there's a difference between
You
girls
obviously
who-
saw some interest in him.
right. Yes, there is always an attraction, or there's always
So
an
the laws of
interest, or there's
attraction are
always
real.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's always something. There's always something that you identify in a person. You go, I could work with that, or I like that. But once you get to know a person, when someone shows their rawness or their true colors,
This is all via text, by the way.
right? Like if they start to show some true colors and you start to feel uncomfortable and you don't feel like you're aligned with that person, then what are you going to do? I mean, you got to be honest about that too. As a girl, you got to be honest about that. But as a guy, take it on the chin, for God's sake. For goodness sake, like don't.
I got friends on. Fuck that. You know, just get mad,
Don't hate on the girl. Like,
No.
and girls don't hate on guys that feel the same, that do that to
where,
you.
I want to know, where are we keeping it 100 here so far? Where are we being 100% authentic? Whereas I don't hear that taking place anywhere so far. So I feel like men and women are being the same in this respect.
Right. Guys can be just as mean to girls. Like, they can just be just as nasty. They distance themselves. They stop replying.
List of my
They
problems.
have other people
Yeah, but
that they're sleeping with at the same time.
Well,
They've
here's
got
the
other
thing.
things they're doing.
You say this, but I think some guys should realize maybe they started off having sex with the said girl who friend zones them, and then all of a sudden it stops, and they're just considered as a brotherly like friendship. And what I call this is my dick on a shelf concept. Okay,
Dick on a shelf.
yeah,
I
it's the dick.
visualize that.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
I
You did.
visualized
Did you-
Quite
Did you
literally
imagine
visualize
putting
it.
something on a shelf
No,
until
I
you need it
imagine
again?
quite literally
Dick
your
on a
dick
shelf.
on a shelf.
Okay, well, no, I don't know if I wanted it to come out like that, but basically, so the dick on a shelf concept, ladies and gentlemen, is essentially you start off hitting it off with this individual, and he or she, obviously it's great, sex is great, or at least you think, and things get really weird shortly after. I mean, whether it's over eagerness, overthinking, or whatever developed as a result of getting friend zoned. At some point you made something work with this individual, right? Because in order for someone to seriously have that much of a relation with you in terms of having sex, there has to be some level of comfort. Okay?
Yeah.
You're seeing someone naked. Okay.
Or comfort, yes. Also pressure in a way, not in a way that says, hey, I'm not in any way implying that a man would demand sex and a girl would just provide it.
Even though the
Not
sex was
even-
good.
But there is a prerequisite to, or a feeling that some girls can have. It's an intimidation to be able to perform in that aspect. Like if they've shown interest and
Right.
they're in a room alone with somebody, like there's not many girls that would kind of say, unless they've got their self-worth intact and they're comfortable enough to say no. A guy also needs to be able to say, I respect that, and that's okay. And not all guys are centered enough to be like, not take offense to, we're in a position where we can have sex.
Right, but it's
and
the
we're
dick on a shelf
obviously
concept.
liking each other.
Right, but you only need
Why
it.
don't I get sex?
There are men and women who only want that,
Right.
but don't know how to articulate that.
So you're saying that there are women that just want sex?
Yes.
Oh,
But
yeah,
don't know
okay.
how to articulate that without feeling the insecurity of being viewed as something else.
Okay, so because then
So the conflict there.
Right. Well, there is another conflict there because if a girl actually does just want sex from one person, and that's all she wants, then
You are the chosen one. Right.
Right, but is the man ever going to feel like he's the chosen one? Is he always?
I
gonna
don't think as a
question-
man, fellas, write this down. I don't think as a man, just because she chose you to have fun with and she actually articulates that with you, I don't think you should necessarily make her the only one in your life.
Right, exactly. So would you think that the girl should have other guys too, and that be a problem? Would it be a problem if like?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well,
If a girl, if
I'm
a
glad
girl
you
wanna-
did.
If a girl just wants sex
you walked
from
right
you,
into that.
if a girl just says she wants sex with you and she just wants to have fun, but she wants to just be with you in that sense. Let's
So
say she
I'm her
says
dick on the
that.
shelf? Okay.
Right. So maybe she says
So
that.
she
but
only
are
wants
you
to have
ever
sex with
gonna-
me when she wants to have
Are
sex
you
with me.
ever going
Basically
to
a
trust
dick
her?
appointment.
Are you ever going to make?
So, look at what time it is. It's dick o'clock.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh, okay.
ever going to feel comfortable with her being with other men and saying
right.
the same thing
Full
to
disclosure?
other men?
Full disclosure?
Yeah, if you can do it, why can't she?
Full disclosure.
Yeah.
Okay. I was involved with a girl who was a very attractive girl. All the right things going on. We met one Halloween, right? And it was fun. No names. And I had my reservations. I mean, first night I slept at her place, she had oddly dirty pillows, and I thought
I remember this.
filthiest pillows, and I thought, did she just leave those out for me?
No, that's fake 10.
Yeah, right.
Babe, that's fake 10.
Yeah,
you can't
do that. You can't leave your dirty pillows out like that. You know. I mean, are you saying because you don't want you to use your nice pillows on me? I don't know. I felt some type of
Maybe
way.
she wasn't like
It
she
didn't
wasn't
stop me.
prepared for you.
It didn't. No, it didn't stop me from doing what I needed to do. And you know, but the point is,
You got it done. Okay. Good.
yeah. But the point is, I felt, you know, I had my reservations on her, but I let those pass because men are visual creatures. We've said
Right.
this.
Yep,
Mr.
yep.
Black and I are obviously on par with this, but you know, I put those little things aside. I just did not realize I was just a dick appointment. Okay.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
a really nice
on
way
the,
of saying it.
on the weekends, you know.
Oh,
Especially.
really?
She reserved me for the
Weekend
weekends.
lover.
I was just the weekend lover. And oh man, sex was great. I may or may have not have implied that maybe I could see something of a future here.
Okay.
But I did that too soon.
Okay.
And my one instance of overeagerness, she shied away from me little by little. So she cut back on the sex and eventually
Okay.
cut back on talking to me altogether.
Okay.
And I wasn't overeager.
Right.
I'm willing to put out the transcripts. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not Donald Trump. So
Whoa.
I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. But that's what I'm saying. So there's evidence here. There's proof. And you know, and for some reason, she just could not and I knew what time it was at some point. It was probably after our third meet, our third time. You know, I was like, okay. You know what gave it away? She started I believe in having breakfast the next morning.
No, yeah,
The morning
absolutely.
after. I don't believe
Oh,
in the
yeah.
morning after pill, but the morning after eggs.
Okay, yeah.
So we have breakfast, and she initiated to pay for breakfast, and I immediately knew something was up.
Oh.
Yeah.
So basically, you were friend zoned and you were a dick appointment.
And it was a dick appointment.
You must have.
all in the same.
So how
I
did
was
that
a little
make-
hurt.
how
I was a
did-
little
you were
hurt.
hurt?
I was hurt
And it
because
made you feel
I
shitty?
thought we had a good rapport, and she would have told me that, but no, she decided not to.
So
I knew it was the last time we'd be seeing each other.
But if I was
it's like
friend
the
zoned and
Titanic.
dick appointment,
Okay.
Kate.
look, so if
She
I
was
was
my Kate.
if I was friend zoned
just
and
kidding.
dick appointment, I don't think I'd be mad because then you just dodged a bullet, pretty much.
So can I?
I don't know if it was a bullet I dodged. I just feel like she probably reserved wanting more with someone else, and I simply didn't see that.
She was just using you for the
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So
Using
I'm
you
seeing
for the
that she
deed.
was. So
Yeah.
she was testing her waters. She probably had. You weren't the only one.
No, I'm
There
sure she was
there
orbiting
a-
other men, and
there was-
I was orbiting other women.
He
so it
wasn't the
didn't-
only one trying to be the only one.
Do you know what I?
You know,
find?
Black, you don't say a whole lot of things that are great, but I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Hey man, I'm out here trying to win.
I
okay?
know, man.
Winning.
You know.
Yeah, I think that.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I look. Girls go through this. We actually go through this every single day. I was having this conversation with Black just last night, actually, in that the way that you felt when she
Was fantasizing, obviously.
dismissed you, basically,
Right.
but the way you felt when you realized you were a dick appointment.
Yeah.
That's how girls can feel, you know, quite frequently. They don't see, you know, they actually, it's in more of a subtle way. Like we could be walking down the street and you checked out or you looked at or you cat whistled at or like something, you know, something
I didn't
happens and you
necessarily
feel like
feel-
a
yeah.
little bit cheap. Like,
Well, I didn't necessarily feel objectified, but
All right,
I don't
okay,
know.
yeah.
I don't know most guys who do.
yeah,
honestly,
yeah, okay,
but,
yeah.
I think it was her way of dealing with the fact that she didn't want me to get any closer.
Yeah, it's because she was giving something. Like, we can't
Right.
be in two places at once. I mean, even though we want to be, you can't. I mean, I couldn't date 4 guys at the same time and give them all exactly the same thing.
No, I don't think she was doing
You
that.
know, like,
but I wasn't the only one. Probably she was orbiting as.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I just think that she gave something of herself more so elsewhere. And if it wasn't a guy, then it could have been a situation in her life. You don't know.
Right. I definitely wasn't her emotional tampon. That's for sure.
You've got some good lines, I tell you. Where do you come up with this? An
I'm
emotional
sorry.
tampon.
You are in the locker room. We've let you in.
Okay.
You asked for this life. There's no turning back.
There's
no
we
turning
don't hold
back.
no punches in here.
Okay.
So there's no turning back. We just want you to know, full disclosure, that we've put this group together and comments are welcome. We will open up the floodgates for comments if you know. So men, some women too, we're open to allowing this friend zone support group, and we just want you to know, with that said, free of charge, but we'd love to hear your feedback. And you know, part of getting feedback though is obviously getting 100% of your votes on this. So give a like or a love. I don't know. People always like, they don't love anymore. Like I said, do that, and then we can roll right into our next topic. I know we've got a lot to say about the friend zone issue. It keeps coming back, but we got to get on this next topic because I think this is important. You know. All right, I brought this up. I forgot what episode, but the sin of omission. Ooh, everyone's asking.
My
The big words from this guy. Okay.
Say it again. That's a good title.
The sin of omission.
Okay.
Fellas, the question, and ladies, am I lying if I simply do not give all the details of something?
No. I mean, my whole thing is if you don't ask about the details, why should it matter?
Well, how?
And
but I'm gonna be
before you.
How would she know to ask unless you tell her?
If it was before her, it don't matter.
All right.
I agree.
So you guys, you don't know what we're talking about exactly, but let me go into details. So the sin of omission is simple. We have examples. It's basically omitting certain facts within something you are entirely knowledgeable on in terms of an experience or something that may have happened or relating to the other person, or it could not relate to them at all. But the point is, by simply not mentioning it, some women, maybe some men, I don't know too many men like that, will feel that is no different from lying.
All right.
Outright. I have my view on this, and I hope you guys can bring something to the table too.
So in terms of like past things, lying by omission is, I think that if you've just started dating a guy, that's one thing. If you're married to a guy and you've kept some things from him, that's probably a little bit different. I mean,
there's some background to this.
Yeah.
We all want our partners to be happy, but especially as a millennial, we're gonna have some experiences where people do dumb shit, and it's not necessarily dumb. I'm not judging, but we have a young man that him and I went to the same alma mater, and he is now married. And the issue I've presented to my friends here, and we've brought up the sin of omission before in short, but now it's really getting serious. He is now married to his wife, and his wife finds out after they're at a friend's house and they're all playing drinking games. And somehow she finds out that at one point in college he had a Prince Albert. Prince Albert, you ask, right? What the fuck is a Prince Albert?
It's the wrestler.
Black. It's okay.
It's the wrestler, right?
It's the wrestler. That's all I thought it was.
Mr. Black, would you please tell us what a Prince Albert is?
So I was told that it's pretty much a piercing on the tip of your dick.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never gotten one. But
I mean, but you told me. So
yeah, I told you that's what he got, but we had to go on Urban Dictionary. So please, this is not an advertisement. We're not getting paid from Urban Dictionary, but look the shit up. This is real. So apparently she felt like upon hearing this, she was a little taken back from it, thinking, okay, she was a little bit embarrassed. But she also thought he might have experimented with other men. She thought this was this is teetering on a homosexual act. I don't know. I don't know the view on this.
I wouldn't do it.
Anyway, the logistics of that with a piercing and that would hurt, I think.
I'm good.
I'm good
Both
off
parties.
that too. I love every part of that part of my body, but I really.
Oh, you was about to say something?
No. Pause.
Just to clarify, they're both grabbing their dicks right now.
No,
They're
my
all
God,
like,
no,
really
I cannot fuck with that. I'm not fucking with
seriously,
that.
they're all holding onto it. Like.
Oh my God. Oh, but here's the thing. So she basically feels like she doesn't know her husband. She feels like certain values they don't share. And she felt like she should have known something like that. But how is a guy ever really supposed to say something about that?
Pierce my dick,
And why
baby.
would it matter?
Hey.
And why would it matter?
Glad I met you. Wow, this is obviously over a coffee date because in Australia you can go on a coffee date.
And she will pay.
Hey, I got my dick pierced. I just want you to know that, wink, wink. So, oh yeah, you see what I did there? Okay, cool. So, but what's interesting about that is she brought up something that was very disturbing. She said she brought out the D word, and we're not talking about dick. We're talking about divorce.
Yeah.
Okay, but she brought up the D word, and the reason being is because she doesn't feel like she could face her parents with that knowledge.
But what is her? But I mean, like the
Her
whole
dad's
thing-
her dad's
He found out.
her dad's
A traditionalist.
pastor.
All right.
Okay, but my whole thing is like, yo,
So
why does the dad?
who
need
did
to
she
know?
marry? Is this a question about who she married?
Why
Or is
does
this a
that-
question of values? I believe you should have similar values as a couple.
Yeah.
But the omission thing, my whole thing is like,
But he lied to her.
he didn't lie to her. He
You're
didn't.
such an asshole.
He never mentioned it. So that's like me saying like, oh yeah, man, I just had a threesome like 3 weeks ago, and you know I just started dating a girl. I would never tell this girl that.
Doesn't
for what?
apply.
Right. Okay.
What's the point of me telling her that?
I absolutely agree.
Doesn't really
right?
apply here.
Yes, it does. It's the same thing.
You're telling me sleeping with 2 other women doesn't really take much thought. Getting your dick pierced?
if I had a tattoo,
This is a premeditated, well thought out plan. You picked the right person to do
Okay.
this, to literally put a hole in the most sensitive part of your
what if
body.
I had a
Or it
tattoo
could've
of a
been a
dick on
dick.
my arm?
Could have been like a drinking
got
game.
I got it removed. Should I tell it? Should I like, hey babe, you know I used to have a dick on my arm.
I know people that got tattooed for part of drinking games and dares on their
You know,
ass
this
with
was-
their best friends' names, like guys' names on their ass. Like,
Oh,
it's
you say
like-
that. You say
I
that.
posted
That's
a video,
cute.
man, on
Yeah.
Facebook where this dude got
I don't
his
know.
stomach
Like, I think it's the same
tattoo with
thing.
an asshole in it.
Okay, that's cute. Okay.
Yeah.
We need to
That was
stop.
hilarious.
That was hilarious. You say that, but we're all ignoring the fact that she thought he might have been experimenting. And now this brings up a topic we brought up before in our last shows. Is a guy gay just because he simply experiment when women experiment all the time?
That's true.
You got kind of quiet on that.
Well,
she
this
can't
is-
even face me.
so
Off.
put it like
she's
this.
like, oh,
Look,
okay.
because I gotta, you know, like,
With this whole new movement where people just like, oh yeah, it's cool. It's cool now, but to me personally, fuck no. Like, you can't be like, oh yeah, I'm about to stick my dick in my homeboy's butt and not think it's not gay.
Nope.
Let's just try it, man.
And we have nothing
Let's
against.
try it.
No. What are you doing? What are you doing? We have nothing against. We
Wow.
have nothing
That's weird.
against this. We have
That's
nothing
weird.
against this. But like we're not trying to be political, y'all. It's the locker room, okay? But at the end of the day, women that I've surveyed obviously feel like this is teetering on the, and obviously, this has become something of a common understanding, apparently, that it's usually amongst the gay population who do this.
okay, so this is, it's interesting that we're talking about that. I think that we're talking about 2 different things.
We
in
are,
that.
we are,
We're
but
saying that-
this is a number of things she's concerned with, but I don't feel like that's the underlying
So,
concern.
Yeah, so like a dick piercing and experimenting, a guy is not just gonna, if a guy wants to, fuck a few guys, in his, okay, so let's say he fucks 5 guys in his lifetime and that's just for a bit of a
Shits and giggles?
experiment.
Oh.
Why go get a piercing over it? I mean, it must be, like, it's not just
It
experimenting.
doesn't even correlate,
It
but
doesn't even correlate.
she does feel
right.
that way, and
But-
she's being
and-
obviously.
Right, but like, and that's, it's okay for her to have feelings about something that she doesn't feel comfortable with. Like, she's obviously looked at her husband and just kind of gone, I don't feel like I even know you. Like,
No,
what
you
kind of
dick
person
piercing.
were you back then?
I don't know this
to
guy.
make you want to
I'm
get
married to him.
a
know this
dick
guy.
piercing. Like, it would make you feel like you don't know a person. I get that, but lying by omission in terms of like past experiences, you cannot go through every single aspect of your past and expect every single person.
No, he
to
didn't forget. He just didn't know how to tell her.
Well, you can't explain a situation
She
in
didn't
your
see the
life and have someone that's now present understand where you were at back then. I mean, that's.
So you're saying you're okay with this?
I'm saying that there are going to be situations in your past that you had to deal with something, or you were going through something, or you were experiencing something, and it had nothing to do with the person that you're present with
With-
now. And it's okay because it's your life that you are going through in that position, and anyone that's in your life presently should be in a situation where they're either accepting of these things that you did in your past because this is your story, and you should be open about being able to express yourself about what happened in your past if it's upsetting somebody. But essentially, you need to disconnect. Girls, we need to emotionally disconnect from the the things that our men went through, you know, in their past experiences, so that we can allow them to be better people in the present, or a better man, or a,
Better
you know,
version of
or a better
themselves.
version of themselves. Not that they weren't that at the time. Maybe they were presenting in their own way as a best version that they could be in that moment with what they were given. But as females, we need to be supportive of that, and men need to be supportive of girls' past as well. Like,
'cause if
we
we-
don't do things that we're proud of.
Yeah, if we didn't, nobody would be.
Yeah, we lash out
Nobody
all the
would be in a
time in
relationship.
stupid ways. Like, we can be victimized for the way that we lash out,
Right.
and objectified in ways that, you know, because we're looked at in certain ways that from the things that we do because of that. But we're experiencing things through life, so we need to, in order for us to be the best versions of ourselves, we need supportive people around us, and people that are not going to carry the past over our heads and say, this is, you know, you're a shit person because you did something back then that I wouldn't have been comfortable with if I knew you then.
Well, I don't know about that. I also know a guy who's dating a woman who he is now married to, who said his wife didn't tell him that she sold all her eggs to get through college, so they can't have children. She failed to mention that.
Oh, that's something that.
Okay,
Oh, that's different.
Different.
That's different.
That's
That's
different.
because now that's like
That's
a
different.
lot of people get married to have kids. and
Well,
stuff.
apparently there's obviously more details. I'm only giving you guys the
Right.
version that
No.
came from him. There's obviously his version, her version, and the truth.
Right.
And the truth as it stands is, well, she did what she had to do to get through school,
Yeah.
Okay.
and she never really
So
thought
what
about
if-
the future. She felt like she can always adopt.
So what if
She said she did want kids,
What
but
if
she left that open for interpretation.
Okay, but what if she was
She
a
didn't lie to him.
prostitute?
She said she didn't lie to him.
What if she was a prostitute back then? What if it wasn't her eggs that she sold? What if it was just her, like, what if it was not just, what if it was her body? I mean, there are going to be
go into
things
what
that
ifs,
we do
but
things.
we're talking about real life.
Yeah.
So, but we're talking about millennials dealing with issues at the present.
Right.
And statistically speaking, millennials don't necessarily have nearly as much sex as our previous generations. Yeah, believe it or not, we're hypersexualized, but it doesn't mean we're having as much sex.
We're too virtual.
Sure, that has gotten
People
to
aren't
that
actually
point.
seeing each other.
Right. Yeah, we can blame a lot of online dating concepts with that too, but I don't know. The thing is, there is things to be said that, you know, sex has to equate to something, and usually it's having children, and we're not having as much children too this generation. So, okay, in all that coming to a close, if you think about the big picture here, we're talking about the sin of omission. It can come in all forms.
Yeah.
Does one make it worse over the other, or it's an actual sin we're dealing with here?
So it can be.
Are we doing something
So
wrong?
if it's
Are we
present-
doing something wrong?
If it's present, if, you know, I was dating you.
Well,
and
at
you
which
went out and
point
slept
should
with
I mention
someone-
that I have no more eggs? Coffee?
Well, when you're talking about,
I mean, really, like-
when you're talking about your, you know, your thoughts about the future. I mean, when you're actually going through that process of saying, I see a future with you, but there's something you need to know. So, you know,
I
this-
got my dick pierced.
right. I don't
what?
have any eggs. Like, I don't. I mean,
But we
look,
can
if
adopt.
someone
Yeah,
someone
I
had
guess.
ovarian cancer and they had to have their uterus taken out, that's something that you should probably disclose
You should
at
tell
that
somebody,
point
hey,
where you're talking about future.
You should tell somebody like
She was a little
it
embarrassed.
would be a
I mean,
sin
come
to
on, she
admit that
sold
you
her.
have like
Yeah.
AIDS or something or like herpes that you should
No,
tell
that's
somebody.
that's a crime. That's
no,
considered a crime.
in California they just reversed that law,
Oh,
so it's not a crime anymore. But that would be a sin of omission right there.
Okay,
But-
so if it was present as well, like if you went out and slept with someone, you know, and you said you were at breakfast, but you didn't give me any details, you might have been sleeping with someone on the breakfast table and lying by omission by not giving me all the details. If
are
we
we
were dating.
are we dating and
yeah,
seeing
let's
each
say
other?
that,
like,
right?
So did I
like,
cheat on you, or
Right, so
or
like you
we
could
just
lie
started
by
seeing-
omission about something that's happening
Yes, but that's
presently,
but
which
that's
is not okay.
That's violating. Oh no. See, but that goes in directly understanding a violation of the terms
Yeah.
of the relationship.
Okay.
Obviously, the terms of the relationship was to be exclusive with each other, so that's a direct violation.
okay.
That's nothing need more to be said about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We're in agreement here.
yeah.
What I'm in disagreement with is whether or not things of our past should shed light now.
Right.
And are we lying to ourselves and to our partners by not saying anything?
I think that this comes down to whether it's going to be beneficial for you as a person to really be authentic with your partner. I mean, like, there are things about my past that if I was incredibly serious with someone, I would want them to know. It would be important for me to know because it explains some of the way that my behavior towards things, my opinions about things, my values, where I've learned some of my values and how I've inherited some others. Like if I once got told by an ex of mine, they said, if they've said, gee, you over-explain yourself. You just let me learn you, let me get to know you, and then let me ask the questions. By explaining it. So I've taken that on board because I used to literally, before I'd start dating someone, I'd literally just say, I'm laying it all out on the table. Like, this is why I am the way I am. This is what happened in my past. This is what happens now. This is why I am this way. I was a millennial at that point. I was
Still a millennial.
Still a millennial. I was 20 something, so I thought that giving all the information, total openness was going to make me more authentic.
Complete opposite.
And it's the total opposite. Like it actually comes across as, a little bit overbearing to be able to try and break down your entire life in 5 minutes so that a person can make a decision as to whether they want to date you or not.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's overbearing. But there has been some, there are aspects when I get to a certain point in a relationship where I absolutely say, okay, this happened in my past. Like I don't need to say everything, but this is how I dealt with it, and this is what came of it, and this is why I am sometimes this way. I just want you to have that in the background because this is how how some behaviours from other people can make me feel because of that protective mechanism or something like that. Or,
Do you think it's fair for her to have said, and we're coming back to our friend with the Prince Albert here, had he told her this on, let's say, the 5th date? Hey, while I was in college, I did something so crazy.
Could have been less serious at the time. Like it could have actually been water under the bridge. Like
So
she may
do you think
not
she would have
even.
stayed? So the question is, do you think, and let's save it for the next episode, do you think she would have stayed with him if he disclosed that on the 5th date? Now 5 dates later, or do you think she would have broke up with him? Given what she's saying now, I'm saying she would have broke it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what she actually said next episode, but I think she would have broke it off.
Yeah.
But like I said, what do you think?
I think that at that time,
Date five.
Yeah, I reckon at the time.
This would have made you spill your coffee, or
No. I'm a different person to her.
Yes, you are.
I'm very different. I'm a little, but. I mean, this is not an uncommon thing in Australia. I've got to be honest with you. Just about everybody, all girls have tongue rings, whether they're a lesbian or not. And I know plenty of guys that have piercings in places that are completely inappropriate. I know a lot of people that, even my own brother has like tattoos of his guy best mates' names because of stupid dares. I'm serious. But I think that after date 5, there would have been it would have been a little bit, the information probably would have been accepted a little easier than after, marriage and all of these things. I just think if this is something that's really testing her, then I just think after date 5, it might have been a little easier for her to absorb and for her to accept at that point.
Date 5 is a safe number. I don't know. What do you think? Date 5?
Yeah, I mean, if the 5th date, y'all should be knowing a lot about each other too, especially if y'all hitting it off a lot. So if somebody told me that they were like, if I was her in her situation, I'd be like, yo, I don't even know what that is. So I probably would have forgot about it,
Right.
But I mean, I don't see a big deal over it. Like, if it's not there no more, why does it matter?
Okay, so do you think date 5, she should say, I sold all my eggs to get me through college?
Now that one I would have been like,
Stop.
no, that one I would have been like, yo, so if we were to move on and move forward, how are we gonna work this out with us having kids?
Ooh, values.
I would just put it out there, right?
Do you know what? Like, this is something that happens in lesbian couples. Like, when lesbians start talking about the future, they say when they start to decide whether they're serious or not.
Right.
Like, 2 lesbian girls will obviously have the same. There's a similar issue there. I mean, one's got to have a baby and conceive naturally,
Ooh, who
or there's
decides?
going to be all these different things that
Is it
goes
paper,
into
rock,
that.
Scissors? Okay, you're
No,
right.
it's more or less just a personal choice, I'd say. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just one person is more preferable over the other to want to conceive a child, if not adoption and whatnot. But
So who decides who the bride or the groom is?
that's not even a question.
Oh, okay. All right.
Don't.
I don't know.
That's
like,
not even a question.
But if you were the bride, aren't you having the baby? No, it doesn't work.
No,
that way.
it does not work that
I'm
way.
just asking. I don't know.
It's all about so it's a personal choice. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
a female, or they all have the same working parts. So if
Right.
So, you know, when they have those conversations, because there are so many ways of going about it, I honestly think that, you know, some people are going to be more preferable over, you know, looking at future in a certain way. Some people might not even want children. And that, when do you tell someone, I actually don't want children? It's not that I can't have children, but what if I...
Is it date
when
5?
you talk to the
It's not
details?
date 5. Is it date 5?
When do you talk the details?
Is it date 5 or date 3? Is it after sex or before sex?
Let me think. It's definitely after sex. 'cause
It
you
has to be
need-
after sex.
Yeah,
Okay.
you need to
All right.
know if someone's
Same
got
thing for Prince
chemistry.
Albert?
You won't.
Prince Albert, before sex or after sex? That's the real question.
How that's not even noticed before, like during
No,
sex.
well, it
I
does.
don't
It's not
understand.
on at that point. He didn't have it on when he met her.
Yeah, but like if you're doing it right, if you're down there and you're using your tongue, and you'll be seeing what exactly he's been doing in his past. Like that is it.
You've heard it
necessary.
here, folks. You've heard it from Miss G.
Okay.
So wait, but here's the thing. So okay, maybe there's a certain rule of thumb to this. Maybe I'll write about it. I don't know, but we don't know if it's after sex or before sex. We're still kind of teetering on the fence on that. But that's our show for today. We hope you like it, and please give a round of applause for our guest.
All the way from
All the way from Australia. What part of Australia, by the way? This whole time we had you on, we didn't know what part of Australia.
I'm a Queenslander.
Queensland.
Yeah.
Nice. I have a friend from Perth. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Oh,
hate it.
Yeah, okay.
They hate it.
Perth.
So you-
Everyone hates Perth.
Yeah, everyone
so
hates
it's-
Perth.
it's
That's
like-
funny.
So
Wow.
if you ever go to Australia, especially the people I really don't like, go to Australia and get in the water. Go to the beach.
Yes,
Yeah.
get bit by a shark.
No, they're not sharks. They got like
The Northern
sand
Territory
crocodiles.
has crocodiles,
Yeah,
guys.
get killed by
Saltwater,
crocodiles.
10-foot long, massive
Nice.
ass crocodiles.
Well, that they won't be black then.
That's right.
All right, folks. Thanks again for joining us. Miami Nights.
Black. Like, share, and post this everywhere.
Do what you can.
Do what you
can.
can.
Spread the news. Spread the word. Hide your wife. Hide your kids. All right. Have a good day.